Talk to you about Dan. So Dan was the first person in Take Control that I coached, and he is a super successful guy. He loves what he's doing right now. He is, I think, the world's best phys ed teacher. He's a total pro at it. He loves his students. He's been doing it a long time, but he is starting to panic about the next chapter of his life. He's starting to panic about the fact that, time is ticking and I love what I do, but I'm not sure this is my true calling. How do I figure it out? How do I make sure that I don't wake up at the age of 70 or 80 or 90 and realize that I never actually went for the thing that I really love? And a lot of times going for the thing that you really love doesn't mean quitting your job. It means figuring out how to be more focused and deliberate in your life so that you can start to add in incremental progress every day on inching forward that side hustle, that passion project, that book you've always wanted to write. And so one of the first takeaways from Dan's coaching session, one of the first takeaways is busyness. And we take a look at the fact that, there are a lot of you that are really busy because you got a lot going on. And then there is the type of busyness that we keep in our lives, because by being busy, you convince yourself that you're in control. By being busy, you fill up your life so much that you also have an excuse for never, ever, ever having the time to do the thing that scares you, which is to write the book, start that passion project, work on your side hustle. And so you got to be very careful if you're somebody who feels like you're busy all the time, to understand that busyness can become a habit and busyness can become your biggest excuse. Something happened yesterday. It's something that I'm not proud of. It's something that I felt really bad when it happened. I had a crazy, overwhelming day. Everything was coming at me from a million different directions. I was being pulled in a million different directions. Chris and my daughter was home from college, and she's sorting out her summer plans, and she was getting extremely stressed out. Meanwhile, I've got a million emails. And so that's how I felt yesterday. And all of a sudden, I looked at my phone and I realized, oh my God, I was supposed to pick up our son almost an hour ago from school. My heart sank. I mean, who forgets their kid? I did. I lost track of time. And so I immediately started texting our son. He wasn't responding. I called the school. He calls me. I said, dude, I'm really, really sorry. I was doing something with Sawyer and I'm running really late. Where are you? Well, I'm about 10 minutes away. No problem. I'll meet you in the front of the school. And he got into the car and I burst into tears. He's like, what's wrong? And I said, I just feel like I failed you today. And I just feel like I am not the perfect mom that I should be. That's the words that fell out of my mouth. And he looked at me and he goes, Mom, if you had been on time, you would be one of those perfect moms that are all over their kids, that are up in their business, that never do anything wrong. And I don't want a perfect mom. I want my mom. Oh my God, I'm getting really upset. And then of course I started crying more. And I was like, that is the most beautiful thing that you've ever said to me. Because it's true. The world doesn't need another perfect person. The world needs you. And you're trying your best. You're doing what you can. And, I think it's really important that you cut yourself a break and that you stop thinking that you have to be perfect. There are going to be days where you're an hour late to pick up your kid. There are going to be days when you can't get to every email, and that's okay. There are going to be days where you feel so underwater, and that's okay. You'll get through it. You'll figure it out. And you've got to understand that it's not about being perfect. It's about just being you. And that means that you got to be willing to start before you're ready. You got to be willing to do what I do every damn day, which is show up in my rollers or start a live stream and disconnect myself or start it and be talking and not even know that I'm broadcasting. You've got to do that version in your life or you're not going to get ahead. Period. I think you should chase what energizes you. Everyone talks about passion, legacy, purpose, blah, 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 blah. The one word to pay attention to is energy.
I love that.
That's it. Let's simplify this.
Okay.
So whatever energizes you, naturally expands you, feels like possibility, is exciting to do. It may be scary, that doesn't matter. It has to do with how it makes you feel.
Right.
When you were in your 20s, money made you feel good. It expanded you. It energized you. Chasing the money, that was the game. That was your passion. That was your There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And I particularly want to say that to the women that are watching.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because it is socialized into women not to chase success like that, not to go after the money. And so if what energizes you is amassing wealth, go for it. But and the reason why I say that is because people talk about the word passion or purpose.
Right.
And the truth is, it's not a person, place, or a thing. It's not. It is the feeling of being expanded and energized.
Right.
If you're pursuing your passion, it means that you wake up every day and are energized. Mm-hmm. So instead of trying to think, what's my purpose? What's my passion? What's my purpose? What's my passion? I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking like that, I want you instead to ask yourself, what could I do today that would energize me? What energizes me? If it's making money, figure out how to make money.
Right.
If it is making a difference, figure out how to make a difference. It could be in any single shape or form. But if it energizes you, that's what you need to follow. And what happens is that passion also, because it's energy, it dissipates over time. Because when you first start making money, it's thrilling.
Yeah.
Thrilling. There is nothing more exhilarating than making your first million.
Yeah.
Nothing more exhilarating. But what happens is once you learn how to do something once, you can do it over and over again. And so it starts to become routine, which means it's no longer energizing.
Right.
Which is why every entrepreneur out there goes through the mode of chasing the money, and then you hit the money that you need to make, and then you're like, I'm not fulfilled. What's my purpose? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I went through that.
I need to find the light. I did everybody does.
Yeah.
And it's because you were energized by the money, and now you're not.
Yeah.
Now you got to be energized by the next. Talk to those of you that are working toward your dreams. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, it's leading to the thing that you dream of doing. And you're not going to progress until you get the skills and the experience that you need at the level that you're at. I guarantee you, even if you're working at a front desk job at a local gym, you're learning customer service. You need to learn that kind of stuff before you can launch your own business. For me, in order to be an incredible speaker that can command a stage with 3,000 people in the audience for an entire hour, I first had to learn how to have the courage to speak up and have hard conversations in my life. Then I had to learn how to speak up in a small meeting. Then I had to learn how to speak up, in a church basement. Then I had to learn how to give a little bit of a talk at a brown bag luncheon. Then I had to learn how to stand on a slightly bigger stage. So if you're frustrated with where you are right now because you've got these big dreams and you think you're really far away, here's one way that you can continue to be patient and you can milk wherever you're at to help you build the skills and the experience that you need as you climb toward the thing that you want. So the other day, I managed to get to a yoga class 30 minutes early. The reason why that happened was not because I was really organized. It was because my son actually had chorus practice at school, so he had to be at school earlier. So I got to the studio earlier, and class normally starts at 8:45, and I normally get there at 8:44, 8:45, 8:46, right in that zone. This day, a couple days ago, I arrived at like 8:14. And so I go down the stairs to the yoga studio, and I get up to the door, and it's locked. It's dark. There's no one there. The reason why nobody was there is they weren't even open yet. That's how early I was. Now, here's what happened that really struck me. The first thought that popped in my mind, here I was dressed in yoga gear. I got my yoga mat. I got my little journal because I'm going to be early and I can journal on my mat and be all yogi in the studio. The first thought that popped into my mind is, oh, you should just bail. Don't even go. Go across the street to Pete's and have a cup of coffee. Forget this yoga thing. I don't feel like it. I cannot believe how fast my own mind contaminated my thoughts. And I doubt you understand how often your mind is looking around and talking to you and spotting things that are negative and arguing against the things that you know you want to be doing. I mean, it was just a moment. Walk down the stairs, see that it's dark. I don't think, oh, great, I'm the first one here. That means I'll be the first one in the door. That means I can get the spot by the door in the back of the class that I really like. I didn't think, oh, I could sit here and I could journal right here and just wait. I didn't think, oh, I could make a phone call. I thought, I'll bail on this commitment I made to myself. I'll just bail on it. I'll just, screw it. So why am I telling you this? Because our minds are so negative. I don't care how positive you are, and I am an incredibly positive person. I don't care how much mindset work you do. You have to continue to do it over and over and over again. It's not that your mind jumps to the negative and constantly sees the problems and the obstacles in front of you. It's that you don't even realize how often it happens and how often it hijacks you and takes you off course. So it's essential that you're paying attention. It's essential that when your mind talks negative smack talk to you, that you smack it back and you say no thanks, or you insert something positive. In order to get to the next level in your business, you got to decide right now, what habits do you have as a leader that you have to change now? Deborah says, what about complaining about things that genuinely take time to resolve? Like, I'm getting over being sick. Let me ask you a question. Does complaining about being sick actually help you get better? It's a fair question. You're allowed to complain if it's productive. If it makes you feel better to go, and saying it is helpful, terrific. If doing that makes you feel even worse, try not to do it. Say things like, boy, I'm on day 3 of this. I must be getting better. Boy, the meds are going to kick in at any moment. You know, when it starts, Chris is looking at me like, what are you talking about?
No, it's just somebody mentioned, do thoughts count?
Yes.
Know, outbound, sort of outward complaining, but then there's complaining in your own mind.
Of course thoughts count, because you know what you complain about the most? Yourself, your body, your intelligence, what you just said, the fact that you didn't go to the gym, the fact that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. The beating yourself up is a form of complaining because you're expressing dissatisfaction for yourself. And the problem with all this is that when you do it habitually, or when you complain as just a default mode and you don't realize how much you're doing it, you're allowing your mind to filter the world a certain way, and you're allowing yourself to live an existence where your own thoughts are poisonous. If you feel like hell and you got the flu and you've just thrown up in the toilet, complain all you want, vent all you want, you just earned that. But at some point, you're gonna have to stop feeding the monster and putting poison in your own mind, and you're gonna have to teach yourself how to start to find milestones that are positive, so that you can become healthier, so that you can change how you think. He gives too much of a shit about what everybody else thinks. Absolutely. And you know who they think they're worried the most about? Their friends. To make it stick, go brick by brick. In order to make it stick, go brick by brick. One of the things that's interesting about having big dreams and big goals is that oftentimes the fact that the goals and the dreams that we have are so big, it makes them really, really difficult to achieve because you spend so much time thinking about how big the idea or the dream is that you become paralyzed in the moment around taking action. How do you build a house? By laying a foundation, brick by brick by brick. You go one small brick at a time. And it's exactly the same thing for your goals, by the way. So if you think about where you're at in this moment and you think about the path that will take you forward to your big dreams or to this change that you want to make. And I'm going to use the eating program as my example because this is daunting to me. I can come up with a million reasons right now, just like I'm sure you can come up with a million reasons why you can't run a marathon, you can't do the singing telegram business, you can't take nature pictures for a living, you can't be more connected to your husband, which is what Leanne wants, you can't launch that aromatherapy business. I can't possibly do a structured eating program with a scale right now because I travel too much, because I'm too busy, because I'm lazy, because I'm not deliberate like my bracelet. Remember my intent bracelet? I'm reminding myself to be deliberate, which is probably why I'm thinking about this program. The path between where I'm at and where you want to get to is the same. It is a brick path, and it is comprised of a ton of little bricks that come together to take me forward. And so when you think about a goal or you think about a dream as a million little bricks that come together and lay a path forward, that's the way visually you can break down your goals. And so for me, you know what that one brick could be today? It could be asking Chris or my brother-in-law for the phone number of the person. Not even making the call, people. I'm talking about breaking it down to one brick. So I will get that phone number and I will write it down in my little red book, or I will write it down in my 5-second journal. And that way I will have the number. And guess what the brick is going to be tomorrow? The brick tomorrow is going to be to call the guy, right? And make an appointment. And then the next brick might be to read a little bit. And so the key is going brick by brick to make it stick. Because if you think you can lay the whole path between where you're at and where you want to go right now, you're not. I know that everybody's problem comes down to one pattern you're repeating that you can't see.